but so that you know everybody, and we are all people that are doing theater at the New Movement and met and liked talking about, why we do it. So that's kind of where we're at and how we do that kind of stuff. And this is the space we're in. So, Delia, you seem to, you said, had we been introduced, so I introduced you. Did you have a question for Maggie?
No.
I have a follow-up question.
Great.
Oh, yes, please.
A question and then a sub-point. Is it bad manners to leave pennies? Like, to round up and sub-point, what's a cool rush cup?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Do they practice here?
Wait.
No, my husband just has these.
Okay.
Not that I believe.
I had to ask. But I love to, I am obsessive compulsive about numbers. So I like to leave, if it's 207 and I leave 5, let me leave at 7 so they get a whole, $3 instead of $2.90. That's always my thought. Even when I was a waitress, I was like, yeah, someone here gets it.
You go back to the table with the I get you.
Yeah.
Kind of look.
Yeah. You want to go wash your hands for 25 minutes together? Bet you're into that.
It would be an adorable love scene.
See.
Ow, ow, ow. Scalding heat.
Way to go.
See, I wouldn't assume that was the case, though. I wouldn't think that it was somebody trying to be very exact about what they're doing, so much as they're yeah, I got these pennies here. Just just passing a burden on to me more than if that were gonna happen, because I don't even when I close out a cash check at the restaurant I work at, they don't even give me pennies. They round up to the nearest 10. So it's I don't get pennies even if I close out a check at the bar where I should have gotten pennies. And it's yeah, especially at Ruth's Chris. If somebody left me pennies at Ruth's Chris, that meant something. That meant fuck you.
They're going down.
Fuck.
Yeah, I just wondered, I had heard that when I was in my 20s, and I guess cash was more likely to happen. But I had a bunch of friends who were waiters in New York, and it was oh man, they put a penny on that table. It's like a slap in the face.
Maybe it's a singular penny.
Maybe.
Or I've heard of the people will put a penny and then a drink on top of it, so that when they take the drink it spills and it's just a penny in there. I don't know exactly the mechanics. Is probably through the the envelope, the cash thing.
Yeah, you can.
So they probably did that, slide it on there, and there's a penny under there just to be a dick.
Wow.
The thing is, though, is if I were gonna do that, I would put something they want under the glass. I'd put a $20 bill or something in the water, because I want to put something that made them want to do these shitty things.
They have to do it anyway.
Yeah, well, at that point, then they could just leave a cup of water, because I'm not going after the penny. It's all right, this just.
You gotta clean the table eventually.
Yeah. But I mean, there's no the money value of the penny under it doesn't really.
Oh no, they weren't thinking that the person was gonna be
Here we go.
penny, my lucky day. Or just as they're cleaning, they're oh man, there's a penny. Oh, that's the insult we all made up for
What if
ourselves.
there was a penny stare throw? I'm waiting until the waiter comes, and then as you're walking by, just here's my fucking change,
Yeah.
and then it's just pennies spinning.
You know what would be such a mean spin on that is as they came and they had a handful of stuff, you just flip it at them like there's a Disney commercial, just bang, and then they'll instinctively try to catch it and drop all their whole stuff to grab a penny, and then they'll be I've been insulted. Insult to injury, because that cup fell on my leg. It hurts now.
See, this sounds like a TGIF sitcom right there. That feels like it happened. So I'm maybe this is where I've learned this thing.
Yeah.
I learned most of my life lessons from TGIF and sitcoms on ABC Family. So
Same.
Interesting. It's funny that you said that about flicking that and then making a Disney connection, because I actually almost got kicked out of Disneyland when I was in 9th grade, because the Tower of Terror. Mm-hmm. I was riding the Tower of Terror to get over my fear of falling, and I was doing it over and over again because there was nobody there, and I had ridden it maybe 4 times, and I bought a hat with like a long blonde wig, so it was obviously me. Because I was an asshole as a kid. So like the 5th or 6th time I went, everybody's dressed like a bellboy. So like as I'm getting on the elevator, I actually flipped a quarter at one of the guys, and I was just like, yeah, don't spend it all in one place. Just fucking around. I do the Tower of Terror, and when it comes to the end, all the bus boys are standing in a line at the end just waiting to get me. like the manager bus boy. Like was of this
the bus
ride.
man.
Yeah, the bus man. He had a mustache. He looked like Mario, and he was just holding that quarter up. And he was like,
oh my god.
He was like, do you want to be removed from this park immediately? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, don't throw stuff at our employees. And I was just like, yes, sir. And I just kept thinking about it because I was like, man, if I had just taken the hat and wig off, they would have been standing there with that quarter going like, where is he? Where the fuck is he? But I just came out looking like this long hair wearing asshole. And I was just like, yes, sir, I won't tip your employees. And just did not ride that ride anymore. But yeah.
I don't see why you would have thought to take that thing off because it seems so innocuous.
It was, and that's the thing, is it wasn't at him, it didn't hit him, it went up in the air, and then it just hit the ground. Like, I just flipped it up, I didn't, like, literally try and hit him in the eye with it or anything.
Yeah, but, like, when you work in a hotel or, like, service or, like, hospitality where you deal with people all day, every day, doing the same shit, when people are rude, oh my god, sometimes I've seen groups just, like, no, this is our hotel, and you're gonna be fucking nice.
Well, mind you, this isn't even a real hotel. This is a roller coaster. This is just a guy that goes like, he's dressed like a hotel employee, and he just lets people out. But it's part of a park, right? Yeah.
That's a deal. I mean,
yeah, but they probably get paid better.
They talk about crazy working conditions at the Disney parks.
This is one of the ones where they're inside all the time.
Crazy, they're wearing crazy costumes. You know, I'm just saying, the likelihood of going off the rocker, high.
No, yeah, and they were dressed like 1940s bellboys, you know, like elevator operators when people couldn't figure out how to make elevators work on their own.
And when kind of people did throw quarters at them.
Like that they got stood up for, like, hey, don't do this.
Yeah, no. I mean, literally the whole staff was there waiting for me. It was pretty rough.
Was this the turning point when you decided not to be a punk kid?
Actually, yeah. I don't know, because, like, that was the kind of shit that, like, I constantly thought about after that, where it was just like, hey, let's stop using my friend's, like, elderly grandmother to get to the front of the rides all the time. Like, one of my friend's chaperones was his elderly grandmother who could walk fine, but she looked like she maybe couldn't, so we got her a wheelchair right when we first got there so that we could move to the front of all the lines. And yeah, at that point I was just like, I kept seeing all these sad kids watching us just scoot her up, and then she didn't even ride it.
And she just jumped up and did a little kick and got on the ride.
She held all your, like, stuff, all your drinks and winnings.
She's just staring off in the distance, but there's like a straw with, like, you know, just some orange drink that she occasionally sips.
Okay,
I'm imagining you growing up real fast at that moment.
Oh yeah, like, Disney World made a man out of me.
Long hair. Cutting it into a nice, respectable short hat with short hair.
Yep.
And then riding rides like, you know, the New Yorker.
Oh, yeah. I just read It's a Small World 35 times just to understand that fun isn't, that it's a luxury. And I don't
stuff
deserve
about global warming.
You're like in a suit with a notebook taking notes as you go through the Small World. So you're like, I see the Netherlands. This is a historical ride.
What was your, did you ever go to, like, Six Flags, or do you have a crazy, what was your favorite experience with that?
Let's see. When I was a kid, I lived in Arlington.
Me too.
Yeah?
Texas, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, there are a bunch.
Yeah, there's Virginia and Massachusetts.
That is true. But I lived in the Arlington that mattered. So I went to that Six Flags, like, all the time, you know, a lot. And I remember the first time I rode, like a big, like, ride. It was the Judge Roy Scream. And I rode it with my sister. And when I was little, just a little something about me, I was, like, just gangly. Just tiny, long limbs, tall, but just gangly, you know? And so I got on the ride because I was tall enough. I think I was just tall enough to get on the ride. So I got on the ride with my sister. They put the little thing down. And we're riding, yada, yada, yada. And as we go down during one of the things, I slid under the bar.
Oh my god.
And I was like, hey, to my sister. And she was like, get up. And so I'm like fighting like centrifugal force or centrifugal or centripetal. I don't know which
One of
one.
them's fake.
Yeah.
One of them is not even a real word. But
What?
yeah, keep
I think
going.
I
You're
mispronounced
crazy.
one of them. But anyway, I was like trying to get back up, and it was like I clearly should not have been. It was the funnest ride ever, but I shouldn't have been on it. But beforehand, we were in line, and there were these older guys, and they see this tiny gangly little girl, and they're like, let's mess with her. They're like, hey, yeah, this ride's gonna derail. Yeah, you might fall out of it, this and that. And one of them's like, you know what? My cousin was on this ride once, and it derailed, and it ended up in the parking lot, in the drive-thru of a McDonald's. And there was a dude, like a couple dudes away from this guy, like not with him, but like just kind of away from him. He was like, oh man, I was on that ride, and they high-fived and stuff. And I was like, you junior high boys think that you're so smart. And they were like, senior high, baby. We're senior high. And I was just like, I'm second grade and I'm precocious. I'm not listening to you. And so I get in the ride, I slide down, and then I get off, and I saw them later, and I was like, ha ha, look at me, I didn't die. And they were like, oh, lucky. I'm like,
I had a teacher who worked at I think a Six Flags, and I think they had like a very similar ride to that at the amusement park that he worked at, and he was always talking about how it was haunted. I think it was that one actually. He was talking about how it was haunted and how they had phones upstairs and downstairs for the like people that operated the ride and people that were maintenance workers or whatever, and he told us that like the phones kept ringing, but nobody was down at the bottom. And he was like, "Yeah, it's spooky." But then, he also like had an affair with a student. So it's like, how much do you want to believe this guy?
yeah. He's also a teacher working at a Six Flags in the
Oh
summer.
no! It was when he was like 16.
Oh, okay. I was just like, is he just gonna go
That
to
would be
Six
weird.
Flags to work there and hope to see his students and bum them out while they're on summer?
Yeah.
Hey, it's your old friend, Mr. W.
He's working at, like,
at my
shaved
other
ice
job.
stands.
You can call me Frank right now.
While you're waiting in line for the roller coaster, tell me, if X is 5, then what is X squared plus X plus 3?
Like, he thinks he's the
Tommy.
Mr. Feeney
He's like,
in
"Get
their
the fuck-"
story.
True, false.
He's just like one of those dudes that's like wearing a backwards cap and then like a dress shirt and then like a shirt on the bottom that says like words of the beef or something. His dress shirt's all like, up to the sleeves, so he's down to party. But he's still wearing a dress shirt, and he's got like a funny shirt on top of that, and then slacks and sneakers.
It's like the. Do you guys watch Stranger Things? It's like there's a dad on it, and I was like, how did they find this man? Because I thought this man had died out in the 80s, but here he is, and he must be my age, just sitting there as the dad. But he's so like, he just had this look. He fit this period of it because it's set in the 80s. So he just really brought some authenticity to it. He was just that kind of dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dadly.
Just sort of like,
Real dadly.
But what should I do, wife?
and it was like, oh my God, this 80s dad. He doesn't get it.
80s dad.
It just
Yeah, he
plucked
was so
him.
80s dad.
Yeah.
It was like his indifference and just him being kind of a jerk. It just
Yeah.
married so well.
Did the person that your teacher had an affair with, was it in your class?
No. She was, I had him when I was a freshman, and I had him when I was a senior. And so this happened when I was a senior, and I think the particular student that he got found out for, I believe she was a sophomore. She might have been a junior. She was like me, let's say 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so you said the particular one he got found out for.
Yep.
We have the understanding that it was like always like a constant thing.
I feel
Semantic
like
check.
when I was